I'm gonna quote my husband real quick on this reel with Robo. He said, 5 o'clock in the morning, Jesus. Yes, I'm pissed off at 4 o'clock in the morning. I have read the stupidest shit, got the dumbest ass messages in the world. And I'm gonna start it out like this. If y'all do not find a problem with what's going on in Washington right now, y'all got issues. For really got issues. Let me tell you how it all went down. Okay, first of all, Nancy Pelosi tried to do a vote 3 times. 3 times it failed on the House floor. Now, if you think about it, the House is filled with Democrats. The majority is Democrats. Therefore, not only did the Republicans say no to the impeachment process, so did the Democrats. So what did they do? They still said, oh, you know what, because of the phone call, there's a quid pro quo, so we just gonna move it on into the Judiciary Committee. Well, when all that failed and Nadler was made to look a fool, then Pelosi changed it over to the Intel Committee, where they could put it behind closed doors. Now, I'm gonna ask y'all to stop thinking left and right politics. Stop it right now. Think about if you were a person and you were going through a judicial process. Okay, would you want to have the ability to have a defense, have witnesses, cross-examine witnesses, and present evidence? Because right now that's something that Trump doesn't have. It's called due process. In these impeachment testimonies, inquiries, whatever you want to call them, trials, Trump is not allowed to be present. His defense is not allowed to be present. They are not allowed to ask questions. The Republicans are not allowed to ask questions. Nobody's allowed to ask questions, cross-examine, present evidence, be defended. Okay? So basically, what it is, it's one person asking questions, making a statement, and then leaking select things to the public of what they want us to hear. And it may or may not be the truth. And coming from Schiff's mouth, I'd say it's more likely not the truth. Because number one, we all saw how he read that phone call transcript. It's all out on the webs, so y'all can read it yourself and see that he was lying. And a lot of you leftists are going to say, no, he was just making a parody, blah, blah, blah. You do that when you talk to, they don't really say it like that. No, really, he wasn't making a parody. He tried to lie. That was one lie. Two lie back when the Russian collusion was going on. And no, there was no collusion, there was no obstruction, there was no nothing like that. He said that he had evidence, hard evidence. He lied about that too. All right. So fact of the matter is he's a habitual liar. And you gonna take his word for it, because he's the one that's letting things leak out into the news. Okay? He's the one that's leaking everything to the news. And it's a bunch of BS. Because if you look before all these little testimonies started, he told the news station live on the news that they didn't need a quid pro quo. If you gonna try and impeach President Trump on that phone call, fool, you do need a quid pro quo. And the reason why they keeping it behind closed doors is because they ain't got one. The testimonies have shown that there isn't one. The transcript shows there isn't one. There's everything showing that there isn't one. So what are they going to try and get him on? Abuse of power. What kind of abuse of power? What has he done? What has he done? Really, I want somebody to answer that question. What has he done? High crimes and misdemeanors. That's the only thing they could impeach him for. What high crime, what misdemeanor? Name me one. Just one. You can't. because they can't. That's why they're having it in the Intel Committee. And to prove my point, this evening, a bunch of Republican senators and representatives went in to the testimony that was supposed to be going on. And you know what? Schiff picked up himself and the witness and walked out. And when they left, when the Republicans left, that's when the trial came back on. Because they're not allowed to see transcripts. They're not allowed to read nothing without somebody looking over their back. And they not allowed to say nothing about nothing. But we supposed to believe Schiff. Yeah, right. Now, I'm going to talk to the Democrats here because I don't think you liberals and Democrats can understand me really well. So I'm going to try and put it in this perspective, okay? You've voted for a few people in the House of Representatives to represent your views. By Pelosi and the rest of them not putting it to a House floor vote, which has already failed 3 times, they are not only silencing the Republicans and the right, they are silencing you. Because the Democrats in the House are not allowed in the Intel Committee either. No, they not. So they're silencing anybody that doesn't agree with them. Why should that make you afraid? Because if they could do this to the President of the United States, imagine what they could do to little old Joe Schmo on the street. Once due process is stripped from people, there is a corrupt justice system. Pelosi is not asking your representatives if they think it's right or wrong to have an impeachment inquiry. Pelosi isn't asking anyone. She's saying this is what it's going to be. Now, I want you Democrats to do your own research, since you don't seem to believe me, or anybody believe me and hear me, because nobody listens to the crazy lady. Do your own research. Go check out how Nixon's impeachment went. Go check out how Clinton's impeachment went. And then look at how Trump's impeachment is going. They had the other 2 impeachments in full view of the American public. Why are they hiding behind closed doors for Trump's? What are they hiding from us? Why is it that he is not allowed to be there and listen to the accusations, listen to the testimony, have his defense cross-examine the witnesses, have the Republicans at least ask the witnesses questions? Why do they not have tapes of this? Why are they not allowed to look at the transcripts? Why are we not allowed to see the process? Why are we not allowed to see the evidence? Why? Why is he not allowed to present evidence? Why? Because this is the same old thing like the Russian Star Chamber, where people go into a secret room, make a judgment, come out, and that judgment sticks. Now, a lot of you people don't care about this because it's Trump. So what? What if it was you? What if you were stripped of your due process? Because once you inch down Lady Justice's blindfold, you can't inch it back up. We are talking about the most powerful man in the free world being railroaded like this. And you think for a heartbeat, a second, that they would not do this to you? Then you stupid. And I'm going to be real with you. You really dumb. You really are really stupid if you think this process is fair. And I'm not mad because it's Trump. I'm mad because it could be anybody. He's not allowed due process. Hell, y'all hate child molesters, but you give them due process. They're allowed to have they defense lawyers. They're allowed to give testimony. They're allowed to cross-examine witnesses. They're allowed to present evidence. Why isn't Trump? Oh, because he's Trump. So what you're saying is that you are okay with Pelosi silencing your representatives' voices that may or may not vote in favor or against the impeachment process. You're okay for the people that you voted for and gave your voice to be silenced. So you're saying that it's okay to silence you, to take away your rights. Is that what you're saying? You're saying that it's okay for anybody to not have due process, where they can't defend themselves. So it's okay, basically, if you ever get into legal trouble, for them to just hand down a judgment, and you'll be okay with that. Oh, now it sounds like you stupid, huh? When I put it that way. But go on, don't listen to the crazy lady, because I'm going to tell you exactly what's going down. If they actually get away with this impeachment process, no telling what other rights they're going to try and take from us. This is absolutely silencing us, by silencing our representatives, by not going through the proper procedures that were set forth in tradition before. And they're doing it all in secret. So I wonder, are you going to mind when they take away your right to speak, your right to vote, your right to live the way you want to live, the right to be who you want to be, all them other rights, your right to bear arms, your right to live in a certain community? You going to be okay with that? You going to be okay with the government telling you what to do? I'm not going to be okay with that. And I'm not okay with this. I'm not okay with anybody being silenced. And that's what Pelosi, Nadler, and Schiff are doing. They are silencing the people's voices by not putting it to a vote on the House floor. A full vote. Because they know they failed 3 times before. And being that it's a Democrat majority in the House, that must mean a lot of Democrats said no, we don't see the reason to impeach. And they still don't. They short votes. That's why they not putting it to a vote. And if anything, forget that it's Trump. Look at how they doing this man. He ain't allowed to defend himself. No one's allowed to defend him. Even the Ukraine said, look, we didn't feel pressured. We didn't even know that the money was being withheld. And it's a procedure that happens anyway, where the money is withheld until they verify that there's no corruption, where they're sending the money. And that has nothing to do with Trump. There's no quid pro quo. Hell, Schiff said it himself. We don't need a quid pro quo. Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. That'd be like you robbing a store and them saying, oh, well, they actually committed a murder. Well, there's no gun, there's no dead body. Well, we don't need one. We don't need one. The guy alive and well. We don't need a dead body or a gun. We just want to convict him of murder, so he convicted of murder. That's what they're doing. They're silencing us. They're telling us that our choice was not good enough, whether we agree or not agree. Because if they do this to this president, say they come across a Democratic president that you like and I don't like, I'd be just as furious. For the simple fact is, if they could do this to this president and they don't like the next president, they'll do that to that president too. And then finally you'll understand, you are being silenced. Whether you like to admit it or not, Democrats voted Trump in too. Liberals did as well. And a lot more will be joining Trump's team this coming 2020. This is the only way that they could stop Trump from getting reelected. And they know it, because they've done absolutely nothing all this time except for BS the public. And I'm tired of telling y'all. Now it's gotten serious. Now it's where they're silencing you. Now it's where they're hiding stuff from us. Now it's to where they're not taking our representatives and saying, hey, y'all got the people's voice. Let's hear your voice. What do you think? They're silencing us. They're hiding things from us. And they're being unjust. They're twisting the justice system and taking away due process. How long before that dribbles down into the American public? Because if they could do that to the president, they could show the hell to do it to us. And you think they give a damn? Clearly they don't. Because they doing all this mess in your face, and you still agreeing with them. Like, why would you agree with being silenced? That's horrible. And I really have nothing more to say to you. Except for one thing. If you okay with somebody not being given due process, if you're okay with being silenced and everybody else around you being silenced, if you're okay with people who don't like the people's choice of a president and undoing their choice for no reason, just because they don't like it, then me and you can't be friends. That's real. That's so real. Because I don't want to be silenced. I love my rights. I want my vote to count. I want my voice to count. And I want my voice to carry. This is supposed to be for the people, by the people. Not for Pelosi and by Pelosi. This is our country. And if you think this is constitutionally acceptable, it is not. Because there is a constitutional amendment that talks about justice and due process. And being cloaked in innocence. And you should be standing up for your voice in Congress, as well as your right to due process, because that's what they are taking from us. This is just the first step. But don't listen to me. You'll see it when the government takes over and they tell you to shut up and you raise up and they slap you down and they screw you with the justice system, just like they do in this man. And then we'll be all under their thumbs, and this won't be America no more. A republic is great if you can keep it. And that's real with Robo.